I'm Andy Radford, and this is the Thursday Reports from the Edges UK studio. If you have witnessed similar events to those discussed by Debra Hunter Pitts, or have been exposed to this type of ritualistic behaviour, please get in touch with us here at theedgeam.com. You can email either Gina Romano, her contacts can be found on her bio page, or you can get in touch with me, Andy at theedgeam.com. If you want to talk about it and you want to remain anonymous, that's okay with us, and we can even disguise your voice. Like I said earlier, we're not here to expose you, we are here to expose the evil that oozes through every crack and fissure in humane society. Okay, it's now time for Edge correspondent Mike Eastwood's presentation on the political side of global warming. As you remember, last week he broadcasted part 1. This is part 2. Here he is, Edge correspondent Mike Eastwood.
Hi, I'm Mike Eastwood and welcome to the second part of my presentation on global warming. In the first part of my presentation I discussed the way the media has tried to alter the reality of global warming, and I also talked about the way the planets in the solar system has been warming up, which is not caused by man-made global warming and which has been caused by the sun. This year, the 2008 International Conference on Climate Change in New York, attended by prominent scientists from more than 24 countries, recently voiced significant objections to major aspects of the so-called consensus on man-made global warming. They described the horror stories about how some scientific journals have engaged in outrageous and unethical behaviour in attempting to suppress them from publishing their work in peer-reviewed journals. Some scientists who dissent from the alarmist view of global warming have seen their grant funds disappear, their work derailed, and themselves labelled as industry stooges, scientific hacks or worse. Consequently, lies about climate change gain credence even when they fly in the face of science that supposedly is their basis. These scientists, many of whom are current and former participants in the UN IPCC, that is, Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change, criticise the climate claims made by the UN IPCC and former Vice President Al Gore. The new report issued by the Senate Environment and Public Works Committee Office of the GOP ranking member details the views of the scientists, the overwhelming majority of whom spoke out in 2007. A report from the conference details how teams of international scientists are dissenting from the IPCC's view of climate science in such nations as Germany, Russia, Argentina, New Zealand and France. The scientists all banded together in 2007 to oppose climate alarmism. In addition, over 100 prominent international scientists sent an open letter in December 2007 to the UN stating attempts to control climate were futile. Climatologist Dr. Tim Patterson, professor in the Department of Earth Sciences at the Carleton University in Ottawa, recently converted from a believer in man-made climate change to a skeptic. Patterson noted that the notion of a consensus of scientists aligned with the UN IPCC or former Vice President Al Gore is false. He said, "I was at the Geological Society of America meeting in Philadelphia in the fall, and I would say that people with my opinion were probably in the majority." This new committee report, a first of its kind, comes after the UN IPCC chairman Regina Pichari, implied that there were only about a dozen sceptical scientists left in the world. Former Vice President Gore has claimed that scientists sceptical of climate change are akin to Flat Earth Society members, and that they are similar to those who believe the moon landing was actually staged. But these distinguished scientists featured in this new report are experts in diverse fields, including climatology, geology, biology, glaciology, biogeography, meteorology, economics, chemistry, mathematics, environmental sciences, engineering, physics, and paleoclimatology. Some of these at the conference have Nobel Prizes for outstanding contribution to their field of expertise, and many share a portion of the UN IPCC Nobel Peace Prize with Vice President Al Gore. Also, these scientists hail from prestigious institutions worldwide, including Harvard University, NASA, National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, and the National Center for Atmospheric Research, and the Massachusetts Institute of Technology. So why would they all be talking rubbish? That is what the media does. It gives you the official story that is given to them by government experts. The voices of many of these hundreds of scientists serve as a direct challenge to the often media-hyped consensus and public brainwashing about climate change. The 2008 International Conference on Climate Change occurred just months after the release of a blockbuster US Senate Minority Report featuring the prominent scientists who recently disputed man-made global warming claims. More than 400 scientists featured in the report thoroughly debunked the assertions that all scientists agree about man-made global warming. But as New York Times environmental reporter Andrew Redkin noted on March the 6th, science is ultimately not a numbers game. As we all know, climate science is not a numbers game. There are heaps of signed statements by folks with advanced degrees on all sides of this issue, he wrote. Furthermore, a Canadian survey of scientists released on March 6, 2008 offered even more evidence that the alleged consensus is non-existent. A canvass of more than 51,000 scientists with the Association of Professional Engineers, Geologists and Geophysicists of Alberta found 68% of them disagree with the statement that the debate on scientific causes of recent climate change is settled. According to the survey, only 26% of scientists attributed global warming to human activity. And this is also despite overwhelming signs of global cooling. I've reported before in the Edge News archives, if you have a look. The headline said, China's coldest winter for 100 years. China, February the 4th, 6 months before the Summer Olympics in Beijing. Millions remain stranded. Freezing weather has killed scores of people and left travellers stranded. The China Meteorological Administration said the weather was the coldest in 100 years. Another article I put on, the headline was, Record snow levels across Northeast America.